Things are changing. Every day there's a new program, software, or AI feature that will enhance your life in some way. But the more we move forward, the more I feel myself drifting back to a simpler time, where the things and tools we had were not the best and most advanced, but they were just enough. In the beginning of cinema, everything was seen the same way. A television with a square frame, watching your favorite shows on a 4:3 aspect ratio. It wasn't necessarily a creative choice, but simply what was offered to us at that time. Eventually, viewers wanted more and more, something bigger and something better. Curious how they can make their favorite shows and movies even a better cinematic experience. Fast forward to today, the 4:3 aspect ratio has become a thing of the past. Movie theaters and just cinema in general went through a widescreen revolution where the integration of CinemaScope and VistaVision really changed film forever. And even TVs and monitors and everything that we use at home, a lot of those tools became a new standard of 16:9 widescreen, where that was just the expected scope of frame, and 4:3 just became outdated and pretty much left behind. But we all love a good comeback story. Luckily for me and every other nostalgic filmmaker out there, the 4:3 aspect ratio has slowly but surely made its way back. And now you could even find 4:3 aspect ratios in contemporary cinema. Notably, Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest is a good one. It was mostly shot in the 4:3 aspect ratio, and a lot of the scenes and a lot of the storytelling matches the 4:3 aspect ratio, where it was done in a strategic way to better tell the story. The ratio showcases the vintage and cinematic quality that it has. Also, something I recently watched was A24's Ghost Story. It uses the 4:3 aspect ratio to capture an intimate story. And believe it or not, even Marvel got into the goodness and they had fun with it in WandaVision, the miniseries that they launched. It uses a 4:3 ratio in a lot of the retro scenes where it really assists in the whole storytelling process of what they were trying to go for. For me personally, as someone who mostly creates YouTube videos on my own, the 4:3 aspect ratio is perfect and it works perfectly for me. This is coming from someone that used to shoot widescreen all the time and never even tried a 4:3 aspect ratio and was kind of against it for the most part. But once you try it, you really understand what that feeling is that it creates. Contrary to the widescreen, I don't feel the pressure to constantly fill the whole screen with interesting subjects, but I just have a very small, intimate square of frame to work with where the viewer is naturally drawn to the center and they're just more captivated by a more honest and personal connection to my videos. Now, on the other hand, it's hard to convince someone that the next Christopher Nolan movie that's shot in space should be a 4:3 aspect ratio, because it probably shouldn't. There's some scenes and environments like the wide and vastness of space that should not be on a 4:3. So recently I shot a music video for one of my favorite artists, and I was really struggling with the look and the overall feel for it. And I actually shot it initially on a wide 4K 16:9 ratio, and it didn't come out bad, but there was something missing because the story is largely based on, two people, love, and very intimate connection, and just something felt missing. And I decided to switch it up and change the framing to a 4:3 aspect ratio where it was just a square. And I think it just fit perfectly for what I was doing, especially with the setting of what I was working with, where it's about two people in love and telling a love story. This connection that people felt watching this square frame was a change that I needed. And it was something that I couldn't really replicate on a widescreen. And this is a perfect example of using this aspect ratio to its advantage, where I was able to switch it up and change it for my personal project, and it turned out great. The artist loved it, and I thought literally changing an aspect ratio changed the tone, the mood, the feeling, and just the overall vibe of a video. And I thought that was just a really cool example of how much aspect ratio could change things. So yeah, there you have it. If you haven't tried 4:3 aspect ratio, then give it a try. It's something you just have to experience. If you love wide shots and anamorphic and all that, I love it too. I've shot plenty on that. You know, you don't have to choose one, but I love that the 4:3 aspect ratio is making a comeback. People are drawn back to it, and even on YouTube I see a lot more of it. And I think that it's something that is, I guess, old or outdated to some, but I don't think it will ever totally be erased from what we use as a tool, because it does have such unique cinematic vintage quality to it that it will stick around, and it will be used by a lot of artists and a lot of directors and everyone that wants to share a unique point of view.